So who do we have here? This is Atatiania Jefferson. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Unfortunately, she was shot to death by a police officer in Fort Worth named Aaron Dean. A tragic event. We can all agree on that. And Aaron Dean's trial is underway right now. Some interesting things have surfaced from it, though, and it raises a question: have we seen this kind of thing before? Yes, we have. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
Now remember, this is just an open structure call. It's not a welfare check. There's been a call of an open structure. Could be a burglary. He doesn't know.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
She didn't get much chance to show her hands. Now, how did the media portray this? She was just sitting on a couch with her nephew playing a video game, and the officer just showed up and shot her. Well, that's not quite what happened. Let's read a little bit. Now, keep in mind, the trial is still going on. There might be evidence that comes to light that paints things in a completely different picture here. So I'm only going to go by here of what I'm reading. Zion, by the way, is the 8-year-old nephew. And according to this, inside the house, according to the account Zion gave to a civilian forensic interviewer trained to question children, Jefferson told Zion that she heard noises coming from outside and she took her handgun from her purse. Zion said Jefferson raised her handgun, pointed it toward the window, then Jefferson was shot and fell to the ground, according to an affidavit supporting the warrant for Dean's arrest. Now, why Zion is calling her Jefferson, I don't know. That's just kind of weird. Now, I want to make sure everybody understands here. She's in her own home. She can have a gun, and if she sees a threat from outside, she absolutely can point her gun at that threat. So, I'm not blaming the victim here. However, everybody has to keep in mind, both sides in a confrontation can claim self-defense justifiably. So while she may have a perfectly good reason to claim self-defense, of course she passed away, obviously not going to happen, but she could have her own claim of self-defense. That doesn't negate Officer Aaron Dean's claim of self-defense. Is his self-defense claim valid? I don't know. We'll find out more as the trial continues. However, have we seen this before? And yes, we have. We now go to South Carolina. There's no sound for about a minute. So what's this about? Well, somebody's life alarm went off, so the cops got a call. So they're going out to perform a true welfare check here. There's no suspicion of robbery or anything else. They're just going up to the house to find out who's in trouble. Maybe there's a heart attack or something. And the cop walks up and he sees the homeowner behind a window. Now notice the window's about this wide, right? So what does the cop do? Well, we'll see. Shines the light into the homeowner's eyes. The homeowner can't now tell who's on the other side. Totally blinded. And the cop shoots him. Now, the homeowner had a gun, okay? Let's make sure that we understand that.
Yeah! Throw the gun out the door! Let me see your hands! Yeah! You pointed a gun at me!
Who are you?
The sheriff's office!
The cop retreats.
Because we got an alarm call!
Oh my God, call the cops, please!
I am the cops!
Call other cops, not you. Thanks, but you've done enough for me already. By the way, I'm laughing. The man did survive.
I rang your doorbell because we got an alarm call.
Oh, there's a handgun. You didn't know the police did this. Oh, there's the handgun. We got to make sure everybody understands it. He had a gun. Yeah, he's inside his own home, just like Atatiana, right? He has a right to self-defense. Somebody's walking around with a flashlight, peering into the house. Yeah, that'd make anybody a little bit alarmed. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop it here because for the most part, the rest of the video is just the old man cussing out the cop in a mean way. Boy, he lets it go too. And I don't blame him, but keep in mind, the cop himself, he went up there, he saw somebody, what he thought was holding a gun at him, which was true, and he opened fire, just like Officer Aaron Dean. So now, let's do a little comparison here, and we're going to have to bend over backwards to make sure that we do a fair comparison, unlike the anti-Kyles, right? So first of all, how are these similar? In both cases, they're at night, limited vision, and the cops are performing a welfare check. Well, actually, in the case of Atatiania Jefferson, that was an open structure. That's a little bit more worrisome than simply going and checking on somebody's life alert, right? But in both cases, the cops are just checking things out and putting a flashlight inside the house. In both cases, the people inside perceive a threat. They don't know it's the police. In both cases, apparently, the people inside the house are armed with a gun. And apparently, and we don't know for sure, they both point their guns at the police officers. And in both cases, the police officers open fire. So what are the differences? Well, one, this man actually lived. But that doesn't change anything in terms of whether it was a justified shooting or not. The other difference is that this old man is, he's white. An older white male. And Atatiana Jefferson is a young black female. Okay? Now, what's the other big difference? Does anybody want to guess what the other big difference is between this situation and the one in Fort Worth? Okay, I'll tell you. The officer that shot this old man was never charged with the crime at all. Aaron Dean is facing murder charges for what happened in Fort Worth. This officer never was charged at all. So, white privilege? Don't think so. We all know why the officer in Fort Worth is being charged and tried, right? I mean, it is the elephant in the room. When anybody tells you, oh, Atatiana Jefferson was just sitting in her chair and because she was black, that cop murdered her. Well, I'm not sure that story is going to hold up, but let's face it, the reason why the officer is in big trouble in Fort Worth is because he shot a black woman. Now, in both cases, I feel really bad for the victims. Atatiana Jefferson didn't deserve to die. What happened to her is a serious tragedy. I get it. I mean, nobody is saying that, well, she sort of deserved it. No, she didn't. She's in her home. She sees a threat outside. She pulls a gun like any normal person would, and she gets shot for her troubles. Now, the officer, he sees a threat, and so he opens fire. He's got a claim of self-defense. So would she if she was still alive. Atatiana Jefferson's claim of self-defense doesn't negate the officer's. And the reason why is very simple. Self-defense only rests on the shooter's perception. Doesn't matter what the victim's perception is. Just as well, Dick Tench, by the way, that's his name, Dick Tench, I forgot to mention that. In his home here, he has a right to self-defense. He sees somebody on the outside of the house burning with a flashlight. Yeah, you're going to get alarmed. You're going to pull your gun. Got to have it ready. And he gets shot for his troubles, just like Atatiana. But the big difference here is that the cop that shot him is going to get away scot-free. Now, should he? Yeah, maybe so. I mean, it may be that the cop did perceive a threat there and took action. The cop has a right to self-defense too. I'm not saying that the cop should be charged. I'm just saying is that one cop is being charged, the other one is not, and it's all because of race. Like my video, subscribe to my channel.